As I said in the last video, what I'd like you to do is to imagine Wigan not as a place, but as a person. And imagine that person, say, like a young woman, okay? And that young woman has a mother and father, has a grandmother and a grandfather and a great-grandmother and a great-grandfather and a great-great-great-great-great, all this. And all those people before, those generations before say, look, here's how we survived. This is what we did. This is how we got our jobs. This is what we ate. This is where we went. This is what we did. And then this young woman's like, okay, that's great, but I'd like to try something different. I'd like to, perhaps be a little bit more entrepreneurial and try this out and try, eating this food or behaving in this way. What happens is then you get these generations before passing down a sort of trauma, in effect, that, oh, well, you want to behave like that, do you? Well, I'm not sure about this. Oh, not like us now, are you, love? Oh, dear. What you then get is this thing called the Jonah's complex. And Jonah complex basically reduced down means fear of your own success. And you think, well, why should anyone fear their own success? It doesn't make any sense. You go to school says, achieve what you can achieve, go as high as you can go. So why would you fear your own success? And that is because you become different to those you're surrounded by, your loved ones, your social circle, your city, your town, and you slowly become ostracized. Really, this is what the front cover is about. This is kind of generally what the whole book is about, including, as I see it, George Orwell's The Road to Wigan Pier, whereby he says, I was brought up to believe that all poor people smelt bad. And it was all about him being really brutally honest and saying we can bring about change and socialism by being a bit more honest about things. Long story short, what I kind of wanted to do is to explain to you the designer Algie Batten's process in all of this and how good it is that you might overlook, but I thought I'd try and to explain to you. So on the front cover, it was taken from an older Road to Wigan Pier book, and what he did is he modified it so that it's a sort of line that comes around and it's a trail, and that trail then goes and leads over the spine to the back cover. Now, each one of these pictures has their own sort of story behind it, but I'll try and be brief about them. The one with the pistol, I was just hanging out there, and I just noticed this car go by with a pistol pointing out of it. And it was a kid, and I took 2 shots in my hip, and that was that. But I kind of wanted to talk about that in terms of the cover, and what I just talked about previously, which is that memory and things get passed down. I was filming in LA, and we had time off after the shoot. So I hung out Mar Vista area on the beach, took some pictures, met a girl, and she said, hey, come back to the bar I'm working at tonight, and we'll hang out. And so I was okay, all right. So then I walked down Abercrombie Boulevard, and 2 guys came out the street, and one of them was holding a silver pistol, pointing at my stomach, and he says, hey, I'm about to shoot you. Give me what you got in your pocket. And I was like, come on, get out of here. What's this all about? Well, And then this car came, and I basically sort of moved into the road, and as the car came next to me, I legged it basically away from them. I remember turning around and seeing them like in the opposite direction. I was like, okay, I should just give them the money, it's and I kind of hung around and I waited for the police to turn up. They never did. I called them, they never turned up until a day later. Some dude turned up who said he used to be a footballer, but it looked like the only thing he could kick was a donut, really. And after that, anyway, but what happened was that I actually walked around and then went to the date, and I was so shaken and full of adrenaline that it didn't go too well. And so what I wanted to kind of say was, really in that instant where the kid was pointing the gun at me through the window, realistically, it wasn't a drive-by shooting in Wigan. It was actually just a kid with a toy pistol. But it was that kind of moment of like, whoa, you're reacting to your past, and that past can be passed down through generations. Is this making sense? And then, so really, then you move to the back cover, and the back cover is a lady winning at darts in the Newton Working Men's Club, WMC, which is a really good place to go. And there was a guy sitting next to me, and then he got chatting about Brexit, and he said, we all voted Brexit here. We just did it because nothing ever changes. I thought it was really interesting. So from that front cover, you have this sort of idea of memory and time and how things change or don't change, and it's a process and a journey through it. So even down to the design, you have this line coming around the text to indicate this sort of symbolism of journey from old to new and new to old, and it's all about memory and about change and the problems associated with change. My lord, and that really is it. That's the story behind these two pictures and how the design works, whether you might see it subliminally, liminally, or straight up. But anyway, that's just the front cover. I haven't even talked about any of the pictures inside yet, the symbolism for that. But hope you enjoyed this. Thanks very much.